Hi, friend. It's your inner child calling. And they want churros. A new toy. And a new adventure. Or maybe 5. With the bestest besties on Earth. Find your moment at Walt Disney World Resort.
Residents at Brightview Senior Living Communities enjoy enhanced possibilities, independence, and choice. Brightview Dulles Corner in Herndon and Brightview, Great Falls, offer vibrant senior independent living, assisted living, and memory care services through various daily programs and cultural events. Chef-prepared meals, safety and security, transportation, resort-style amenities, and high-quality care. Everything you need is here. Discover more at brightviewseniorliving.com. Equal housing opportunity.
Hello, I'm Adrienne Bain, a producer here at Wonder Media Network, and I'm so excited to be guest hosting this episode of Womanica. This month, we're talking about architects. These women held fast to their visions for better futures, found potential in negative space, and built their creations from the ground up. Hey you, yes you. Are you wasting your time in an insufficient kitchen? Are you tired of trekking miles between your stove, sinks, and cabinets just to make a simple meal? Well, say goodbye to clutter and chaos, because we have the solution straight from the 1920s. Introducing the Frankfurt Kitchen. Yes, this domestic darling transformed home cooking forever. And it was created by a woman who wasn't just modernizing kitchens. No, she was also fighting fascism while doing it. And you can learn more about her for the low, low price of listening. That's right, just listening. So please welcome Margarete Schutte-Lihotzky. Margarete was born on January 23, 1897 in Vienna, Austria, back when it was still the Austro-Hungarian Empire. During this time, a woman's role was confined to a simple phrase, Kinder, Küche, Kirche, which translates to children, kitchen, church. But Margarete's middle-class family gave her some educational wiggle room. She became the first and only woman to study at what is known today as the University of Applied Arts Vienna. She was determined to become an architect. But the men in her life, her father, her professors, were against it. She later said, "They thought that I would starve to death. Nobody could imagine hiring a woman to build a house in 1916. Not even myself." As a student, Margarete became a mentee to Oskar Sternad. He encouraged her to study the living conditions of the working class, something she'd never looked into before. But once she saw their living conditions, she had an epiphany. She would center her career on creating affordable housing. By the time Margarete graduated, the end of World War I and the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire had led to a housing shortage. Much of Vienna was affected. In response to this, the Social Democratic Workers' Party of Austria, the SDAP, began campaigns to build social housing, which meant Margarete found no shortage of projects that embodied her new worldview. Her first major project was a collaboration with fellow architect Adolf Loos to create housing for the invalids and veterans left displaced by the war. By the time she was 24 years old, she had started her own studio. Yet, her design magnum opus was still on the horizon. In 1926, Margarete was called by German architect Ernst May to join the New Frankfurt Project, a large-scale initiative to solve Frankfurt, Germany's housing shortage. With lots of financial backing, Margarete and other architects were tasked with creating functional, modern, and affordable housing for thousands of residents. She would go on to design kindergartens, student homes, and community buildings for the city. But her most revolutionary creation could be found in the average apartment, the kitchen. Back then, most kitchens were what your sleazy landlord might call, quote, open concept. In reality, they were bare bones. No countertops, appliances, ventilation, or even basic storage. What you had was what you brought in. And for people rebuilding after the war, that wasn't much. Margarete was faced with a blank canvas that needed efficient and innovative ideas. Seeing housework as a profession and not an obligation, Margarete took a scientific approach to designing this kitchen. First, she interviewed housewives, asking what they needed and desired. Then, she conducted time-motion studies. She tracked how many steps each task in the kitchen required, and more importantly, how to reduce that number. From there, everything else fell into place. Continuous countertops, built-in storage, a cook stove, a swivel stool, and much, much more. All neatly packed in its own 13 by 7 foot room, the Frankfurt Kitchen was born. Margarete's designs were implemented in Frankfurt. Over 10,000 kitchens were installed in apartments, making this the first fitted kitchen. As Margarete continued to implement her designs in different parts of the city, she met and married Wilhelm Schutte, a fellow architect. The Frankfurt kitchens continued to be manufactured until 1930, when the Nazi Party gained power and cut a lot of public housing initiatives. And as work became scarce and the dangers of the far right grew imminent, Ernst May, who had brought Margarete to Germany, gathered her and 16 other architects and fled. They continued their work designing collective kitchens and nurseries for the Union until they landed in Istanbul, a safe haven for Europeans as World War II loomed. But not one to sit back and do nothing as fascism reigned, Margarete joined the Austrian Communist Party in 1939. 2 years into joining the fight against Nazi terrorism, Margarete was given a crucial mission: return to Vienna, smuggle out anti-fascist literature, and deliver a message to resistance leaders on the ground. If you want to live, leave. Margarete was up for the challenge. At first, everything went smoothly, until the day before she was set to leave. On January 22nd, 1941, Margarete agreed to meet a leading resistance member at Café Victoria. When the two met, they were arrested by the Gestapo. It was an ambush. While Margarete endured several days of interrogation, other resistance members were sentenced to death. She later said in an interview that due to a series of coincidences, I was sentenced to only 15 years in prison. She was finally freed by U.S. troops on April 28, 1945. After the war, Margarete returned to her hometown of Vienna, but instead of being welcomed as a hero, she was shunned. Post-fascist Austria was in desperate need of rebuilding, but because of Margarete's political views, she was denied public commissions. Unfazed by this, she found public projects in China, Cuba, the Soviet Union, as well as private home designs. Her activism never ceased. Margarete helped establish the Austrian Peace Council and even became the first president of the Democratic Women's Federation. She remained committed to fighting against fascism, even founding a women's committee that screened films opposing war, fascism, and environmental destruction, a mission she carried from 1960 all the way to the 90s. As time went on, Austria began to recognize Margarete's contributions. In 1980, she won the Architecture Award from the city of Vienna, and 2 years prior, she received an honor badge for her work with the resistance. In 1988, she was supposed to be honored by Austrian Federal President Kurt Waldheim, but she declined because Mr. Kurt was an intelligence officer with the Nazi army. She remained 10 toes down till the end. On her 100th birthday, she made it clear that though she understands the importance of it, she did not want to be described as, quote, the designer of the Frankfurt Kitchen. She said, "If I would have known that this is everything that anyone would ever talk about, I would have never designed this damn kitchen." She died on January 18, 2000, 5 days before her 103rd birthday. All month, we're talking about architects. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Jenny and Liz Kaplan for having me as a guest host. Talk to you tomorrow.
Residents at Brightview Senior Living Communities enjoy enhanced possibilities, independence, and choice. Brightview Dulles Corner in Herndon and Brightview, Great Falls, offer vibrant senior independent living, assisted living, and memory care services through various daily programs and cultural events. Chef-prepared meals, safety and security, transportation, resort-style amenities, and high-quality care. Everything you need is here. Discover more at brightviewseniorliving.com. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway. It's stock up savings time. Now through March 27th, spring in for store-wide deals and earn 4 times the points. Look for in-store tags to earn on eligible cleaning items from All and Cottonelle, and dinner essentials from Daisy, Skippy, Hellman's, and Barilla, plus many more. Then clip the offer in our app for automatic event-long savings. Stack up those rewards to save even more. Restrictions apply. Visit Safeway.com for more details.